Yes, sir. All right, so we just got past the first session. Hey, how y'all feel about the first session? Was it good? All right, cool. So I think y'all gonna like this even more. Before we talked about, different ways to make money being actors, athletes, rappers, etc. But how many of y'all want to start a business and be an entrepreneur? Raise your hands. Good, I like that. So today, what we're gonna be talking about on this panel is entrepreneurship. Not just building your own brand, but building a legacy, making money while still being able to help other people. So, gentlemen, first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to this summit. We here to drop knowledge, so let's just get right into it. So we're gonna start off with BK. So BK, this is my guy right here. I met BK when I was at a Space Jam event with Microsoft and FaZe Clan back in 2021. And so you work with some of the biggest companies in the world. FaZe Clan, you the head of content creation at Heartbeat Productions, Kevin Hart's production company. But my question for you is, where did that drive to want to build brands and create content and help other people come from?
Love that question. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Hopefully feeling good today. That drive came from the fact that I also teach at USC, fight on to anyone that's interested in that school, dope place to be. But the reason why I bring that up is it's the power of storytelling, right? These brands want our dollars. We are the ones that are literally keeping them afloat, and they want to be in our conversations, so we might as well make damn sure that the conversations are ones that are authentic to us and they're stories that actually resonate. And so that's been the thing that's been driving me ever since, and that's why they keep knocking, and I'll take it.
I love it. I love it. So, Eric, now, I got a chance to talk to him earlier. You from Wisconsin, right?
Yep,
I'm
absolutely.
from Chicago, so we like 2 hours apart.
Yep.
You styled some of the biggest celebrities. Who have you styled so far?
A bunch. Tobias Harris, Malcolm Jenkins,
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Quite a few.
Okay, so you've styled some of the biggest celebrities on the planet. You also do a little bit of real estate, but we're going to talk about that later.
For sure.
But what allowed you to go from having an idea to then making that happen and helping other people and then starting your own company doing so?
I kind of have a pretty unique story. I worked in finance for a good amount of time, about 7 years, and just through building relationships and stuff, one of my clients who used to own a sports team, a professional sports team, came to me and said, "Hey man, I like the way that you carry yourself. I like the way that you dress. Come down to Miami with me for a weekend and teach me how you do it." It was a crazy question for me at the time because I just thought I was just being me, but he valued that. So long story short, I went down to Miami, had a good time with him, and when I was leaving, kind of walked them through how to dress, where to dress, how to get your clothes tailored. He wanted every detail from cologne, glasses, all type of stuff. So I gave it to him, and when I was ready to leave, he gave me a check. And I looked at the check, and I low-key thought I was getting punked because I hadn't seen a check like that before. And that's when I knew it was time for me to leave finance and go into fashion. I knew I had something tangible.
How much was it?
A couple dollars. Couple dollars.
So, Jordan, this one right here, I ain't gonna lie, I love some of the pieces. So you started your own clothing brand, Hypeland, when you were 13, right? Correct. So the inspiration, if I'm not mistaken, it came from anime, correct? So you took something that was unique at a time when nobody was watching anime. Let me ask you this. How many of y'all watch anime? All right, how many of y'all started watching anime from the pandemic? I was one of those people, right? I ain't gonna lie, I had friends, or not friends, people in my school, there was Naruto running down the hallway. I'm like, I'm not watching that. But you started combining two passions of yours at an early age. So how did people receive that? And then how were you able to lock in and stay focused even in a different time back in the 2010s?
Yeah, so just to give some context, I started my brand originally a streetwear before we started getting into anime. What made us shift into the anime focus was I had a conversation with Virgil back when I was in college, and he was like a mentor of me, and he was saying, hey, look, you have a lot of ideas, but in fashion, what makes you great is focusing on one particular thing and having a bit of separation. So for me, what made us shift into anime was, one, I was a big fan of the consumer. I knew how big the culture was, and I felt like there was a need in the space, and I felt like that there was no outlet for people who looked like me to express, like, hey, I like anime, but I'm also fly. I don't want to be seen as a nerd. I want to get in these rooms and still be cool and, you know, be able to talk to girls and, you know, like come off a little different. So when we first kind of came out, obviously it was a little different. My mentors and people who came in fashion, they didn't really understand the space too much, so they were like, you know, they were like, don't do this so much, kind of stick to the traditional cultural norms and stuff like that. But, you know, I just said, you know, I understand because I'm an authentic participant in this space, how big it is and how there's people who look like me who need this. You know, I feel like everybody in here, we all seen Dragon Ball Z. We all like how Trunks dressed. We liked how a lot of these characters dress. So I said, you know what? I know how big this space is. I'm going to just be confident and do it myself. So, you know, there's a lot of people that doubted at first, but I said, you know what? I know how big this is. I've been in this space for such a long time. I'm going to just keep on pushing forward, and it ended up working out great because I feel like there were a lot of people that looked like me that needed that outlet, and we were the space to give it to them, you know?
And last but not least, Darrell Spencer. So you started your company, Crown Skin, which was focused on helping other people feel seen through, or for black men specifically, through scented body butters, right? So my question to you is, was there ever a time when you didn't feel seen or confident in your life, and how did you use that to help others feel different than you did?
We getting a little deep. All right, so a time where I didn't feel most confident. I mean, I would say in grade school, right? I feel like growing up in elementary school in Chicago, in the inner city, I feel like, you know, when I was young, I was still growing into my looks, right? So I felt like I wasn't the most confident at that time, but it's something about a fresh haircut, right? That'll make a man just feel good and feel smooth. So honestly, that gave me my confidence, right? And then it was a fresh bottle of cologne, right? That made me feel great, especially in grade school. So I took that because I knew what it did for me. It instilled confidence in me. I felt great. I had a new pep in my step with a haircut, with some cologne. So fast forward to now, this is actually my second company, Crown Skin. So it put me into the beauty space, right, in men's beauty. So I wanted to create products that made men feel good, seen, heard, and confident. So my first company was King's Crown, where I created satin line products for men to protect their hair, right? That took off. That turned into a multi-million-dollar company. And then fast forward until now, about a year and 3 months ago, I rolled Crown Skin out. And then now my intention with Crown Skin is I wanted to create products that made men feel seen, heard, and confident. So we create body butter colognes that smell amazing, right? So the body butters, they moisturize, but also they smell like cologne, and that's my goal. So any room you walk in, if you apply the body butter colognes, you're gonna walk in, you're gonna be seen, they're gonna smell you, you feel confident, you feel great. So tying it back to it, right, I think it's all about hygiene, right? Or even grooming, and I created the products to help men feel more confident.
I might need to get a couple after we leave. My question, so for everyone, we only have like 11 minutes left, but there's a lot of people here, they want to become entrepreneurs, but they just don't know how to get started. So what could anyone in the audience, whether they're a teen or a grown man, what could they do to get in the game and prepare themselves to get started? You gonna go ahead, Jordan.
First. I'll say this, and to sound like as nice as possible, I think right now we're in the age of information, and the first thing you need to do if you want to do something is hop on YouTube. I feel like not knowing something or not knowing where to start is not an excuse that you can use anymore, because you got ChatGPT, you got YouTube, you got Instagram, you have all types of content, just outlets where people are giving free game, and they make that their brand. So if you want to start something, hop on YouTube, Google search exactly what you want to do. I'm sure that there's a million videos where you could get started.
I can hop in and tie it up together too with that. One of my biggest pieces of advice is, I say it all the time, I say do it afraid, right? Most times, I think for me personally starting out, I didn't have too many resources, right? But I didn't allow it to stop me from doing my research, Googling, going on YouTube. And because I wasn't afraid to step out, right, and create this company, put a little bit of money into it, I'm reaping the benefits now. So most times when you don't have resources and you lack it, you're afraid to just step out on faith. So I would say do it afraid, honestly, especially when you feel like you don't know what you're doing. The lessons that you can get from failure, honestly, is far greater than anything else, right? So do it afraid is my biggest piece of advice, too.
I would honestly say find a coach, find a mentor, and then I know this is a faux pas thing to say, but offer to do it for free. People will give you more opportunity when it's at no cost to them. They will literally give you free game. They will help you. They will put you in better places when you aren't asking them for something in return except for knowledge. So I say go out, find a coach, find a mentor, whatever you can do. And then the number one thing, no matter what business you are in, is have them teach you how to execute. There's a million ideas in the world. Everybody wake up with a new idea every day. Ideas mean nothing. Execution of an idea will get you everything that you need in life.
Okay, now.
I love that. That's a good tee up. And I mean, I said it before, but it's all about the story, right? And so we heard, do the research, do the work, find the coach, execute. But for me also, there's a million brands out here. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, which is amazing. We saw hands go up left and right. I had no idea this young man at the end was over Crown Skin, and one of those Instagram spots actually snatched me immediately, because we've seen Axe commercials in the past, right? Like the women chasing after the dude, but what do they normally look like? Not like us, right? So when I saw a spot on Instagram that made me laugh because it's a sketch of a dude wearing a body butter, and all of a sudden these black queens are all over him, I'm like, hey, yo, what's up? So again, the story. There's a million people that got body butters, but I was locked in with what he had going on, not even knowing you at all. I'm literally meeting you today, but that story was the thing that really mattered. So do the work, do the research, find the coach, execute, but what's your story? What's the thing that really makes you stand out?
So give it up for him. Give it up for him.
Yeah, make some noise, y'all. Counting on y'all to participate.
So in the last segment with Wallow, we talked about collaboration. He talked about how he collabed with Gilly, $1 million worth of podcasts, and how that is important and you can't go alone. So can you guys talk about how collaboration has helped you in your careers and why it's so important to understand that you can't do anything alone? You'll go further when you work together. Anyone wanna go first?
I'll jump in. Collaboration is huge. It's the only way that you can scale. Scaling a business is how you maintain a business. It's how you make money. It's how you create a business to be your livelihood. But a lot of people also don't talk about collaborating properly. You can't just be this kid that really has no proof of concept and you go to this major brand and say, hey, yeah, let's collab. They're gonna look at you and say, collab for what? You have to learn how to properly collab, and that means you need to start in your sphere. That's the people in this room. You need to meet the people in this room and say, hey, what you doing? You might have a graphic designer. You might have a kid that knows how to sew. You might have a kid that knows how to do footwear, and boom, all three of y'all come together, and now you got a brand. You got 3 founders. Cool. You know what I mean? Now you got 3 different revenue streams. You got 3 different sets of ideas, and now you collaborated properly because now you have proofs of concept. You put out some products. You make a cool brand, and now you can go to the big brands of the world, the Nikes. Hey, pay me. We should be, we got something to offer to you guys. So my big thing is collaborating properly within your sphere, and then that's going to take you to the next level where you can collaborate with people that are doing better than you as well.
Okay, now.
Yeah, tying back to that as well, I would say collaboration is important. I think especially when you're going to scale a company and a business, right? So I can do Crown Skin, and we can maybe sell 5,000 units in a year, and that's fine by myself. But if I want to do far greater than that, right, I need a team, and collaboration is important. I always say, know your area of genius, right? So mine personally, as BK said, is like I'm at marketing and creative, like my juices, they flow. I know how to creatively market products that get in front of you, and you know how to convert quickly on an ad, right? But in order to scale, I need people who fill gaps, right, that I lack, right? So if I know, in terms of like business strategy, I need somebody who's an expert at that. I'm gonna bring somebody on to fill those gaps. So I say, know your area of genius, but also know the gaps that you need to get filled, and then you can scale that way too.
I know we don't get a lot of time, so I'll try to keep this short. Collaboration is why I'm here today, honestly. The way I view collaboration is not just about coming together with different brands, right? You've heard folks talk about it. It's the skill set. So what can I do to help you? I'll look at what you could do for me afterwards. That's how I approach it. And from that mindset, it turned into me developing amazing relationships with people, which got me a job in Los Angeles. They moved me, and I'm divorced with my then wife at the time, across the country just because of a collaboration from the past. And then she introduced me to someone else. Fast forward, I ended up working on an Activision business, collaborated with a lot of people on the Activision team, even though it was not my job when I was at an agency. Fast forward, that got me to FaZe, collaborated with a lot of dope talent. That introduced me to you. That's why I'm on this stage now. So I say that to say, as someone, and I don't mean this as a cocky statement, every single job that I've had has been created for me. And that's because I jump into rooms, I jump into projects, I jump into anything that I can and figure out how can I collaborate with you, aka how can I make what you're doing better, because you're gonna turn around and try to do the same for me 9 times out of 10.
Love that answer, love that answer. You don't have to.
Yeah, no, I don't have to answer. I feel like all my fellow panelists answered the question so beautifully. And just to echo the same sentiment, you just want to have your own unique perspective and work with other people to make that perspective bigger. I feel like everyone has some type of value prop, whether it be your perspective or how you are on your business. So with collaboration, it just really aims to just make everybody's vision bigger. You know, we all bring something unique to the table, so collaboration allows it to be a little bit bigger.
Absolutely. Hey, G-Thing, where you at?
Here I am.
All right, so look, they gonna hate me for doing this.
I know they're going to hate you.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
You
can
going to do
crucify
it.
me afterwards.
Don't worry about it. This might be both our last
We're
days.
gonna allow one person in the audience to ask a question.
That's what I'm going to do.
Just one person. So
That's
if you
all.
got a question, raise your hand. G-Thing's gonna pick it.
One question.
Just one person.
I got to get this suit jacket.
Just one
Let me
person.
get this suit jacket. He took his time and put that on. Oh, no, that's a sweater. Okay. Okay, come on. Come stand up real quick. What's your name, real quick?
JT Chestnut, Cal State, LA. I work in higher education.
Boy, you educated, boy. Look at you, boy. Okay, give me real quick.
What is your definition of passion?
Who you want to ask that to?
Any other fellas?
Any other fellas, what's your definition of passion? Cardigan sweater guy want to know.
Definition of passion. That's a good question.
I'll say passion for me is something that you love doing, that you would do even if you weren't getting paid for it. I feel like a lot of times you see people that run different businesses and they've been successful for things that they love, but I think the one thing nobody talks about entrepreneurship is like the days that you're not making money, the days that you lose money, the days that you have to spend 12, 15 hours losing sleep doing something that you love. So I feel like passion for me is like anything that you're willing to sacrifice any and everything almost to just do that without some type of payoff. Because, you know, success is not guaranteed. I feel like we've all been fortunate enough to be in these spaces and fortunate enough to learn and fortunate enough to work with these different businesses. But I think that I can all probably say each of us would not be doing this if we did not love it, because there are definitely dark days where, you know, it's not pretty.
Anyone else want to answer this question?
I'll kind of echo his sentiments too.
Oh, yeah, give it up, give it up.
I'll echo his sentiments too. Is you definitely gonna have those dark days. So your passion has to be rooted in what you're doing, and you have to love what you're doing. But you also have to have that passion and that innate ability in you to want to move forward. That's what's gonna keep you driving. You can make $1 million 1 year. If you are passionate about it, you're gonna want to make 2. If you make 2, you're gonna want to make 4. If you make 4, you're gonna want to make 20. So passion is getting to a certain modicum of success and continuing to build off of that as well.
Ooh, we got a few seconds to see if I can hurry up. Passion for me is I was doing this before the bag and I'll be doing it after. And I'm always gonna chase after the things that get me excited, and it just happens to be the things that I work on. And so when I realized that early on, I was like, I love this. And my last statement is, oftentimes we think cockiness is a bad thing. When I'm talking about what I do, I don't give a damn what you think about me, because I'm so passionate that the right people will gravitate. The ones that don't need to, move aside.
I love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it a one last time for the entrepreneurship panel.